Hi, it's Gadget UK here. This is a short video on the Gamepark GP2X. I've had this for several years now. I can't remember when these came out. I'll post links to the Wikipedia link, you can have a look yourself. Exact specs, I think, for what memory serve, it's an ARM9 processor, and there's a co-processor on there as well. Runs at 200 megahertz. These can be overclocked pretty easily up to about 240. They will go as high as, some of them will go as high as 266. They were built by, as I say, Gamepark Holdings, which is a South Korean company, not North Korean. Yeah, Kim Jong, whatever, had nothing to do with the design of these, I can assure you. But yeah, the South Korean, I don't know what else to say really. The Linux based, 64 meg of RAM, 64 meg of flash RAM for the OS and stuff, and you can store games and things on it. Lots of nice features built in. You can connect like a special, it's like a, I don't know, an extra board or something you can connect to this. It gives you USB ports and things, USB controllers. Haven't got one of those, don't really need it. It uses an SD card which goes at the top. Just off camera here, you can see, I'll show you in a sec. Got this connected up to some speakers at the moment, just so you can hear how good the emulation is on this. This was sort of in part this video for in reply to Gruss Newton. Really, he was asking me about this. I mentioned the GP2X is pretty good for emulation. One of the things that's a downside to these, and it's like all these handheld systems really, is the batteries. You know, they just don't last very long. You get an hour or two on a set of AA batteries on these. They just eat batteries for fun. If you get like really high capacity AA batteries and you've got a good working unit, they can last 2 or 3 hours, I think. If you depends on whether you overclock it. If you just stick it at 200 megahertz, you'll get a couple of hours out of them, I'm sure. So they're not that bad for, you know, short trips and things. To be honest, it's the sort of thing I take on holiday anyway, and just take the AC adapter, you know, just plug it in, you know, when I'm sort of stuck in the room in the evenings and things, and I'll have a play on it for a few hours. It's pretty good. There's a problem with this unit. I'll show you a quick clip later, but it took me a while to get this on today, a good sort of 6 or 7 minutes. It was just like graphical corruptions when I first powered it on. So I think there's a problem with this. I suspect there's been a problem with this for a while actually, because when I put batteries in, brand new set of AA batteries, and the red battery light comes on right from the start. And actually in recent months, actually it's not booted at all with batteries in it, even when they're brand new. So I think there's something wrong with the power circuit on that. I don't know if there's a Zener or something in that's breaking down, or something like that. It could be voltage regulator, I honestly don't know. It's working for the moment, so I'll show you what I can. But as you can see, the screen's pretty good there. I'm trying to get this glare off the screen, it's bloody hard. But hopefully you can see. I'll just try and zoom in a bit just so you can see perhaps just how detailed the image actually is there. They're pretty good screens. And so apologies, it's at an angle. Again, it's the only way I can get the glare off. But as you can see, it looks and sounds pretty sweet, certainly for Megadrive. And I'm using, I think it's Pico is the emulator I'm using here. So I'll just start this, and I'll just show you so you can see what the sort of gameplay is like. I'll turn the sound up a bit. So just turn that down a bit. But as you can see, it's pretty good. It's pretty smooth. Pretty good screens on these, really. Although some people complain about them, I think they're bloody good, really, for the price and stuff. Anyway, let's try something else. I forgot how you do it now. Is it? Yeah, select. There we go. So I'll just load into the game, and you can have a look at something else on the Megadrive. Let's try Golden Axe, one of my favourites. Seen it a few times before, but so that's looking and sounding sweet. Skip that. One of the downsides, I mentioned the battery obviously, but the other downside to this, which I'll show you in a minute, is the thumbstick. It's sort of an analog, well it's a digital, but it's an analog type mechanism. It's bloody awful. So what some people do is replace the stick on these with like something off another controller, maybe off a NES or something like that. But it obviously involves hacking the case and doing a bit of soldering and all the rest of it, and gluing a few things down. So it's not ideal, but at some point I might give that a go myself, just because the sticks, as I say, they're not very good on these. Right, I'll switch it off. I'll just show you the boot process. You can see it does take several seconds. Last year I updated this to version 4 firmware, so it's a bit slower. Normally it takes about half amount of time, I think, on a version 1 or version 2 firmware, but I just decided that, you know, why not just try and upgrade the firmware. So I had a go at it, and it was a bit hair pulling, you know. I was a bit stressed for a while because of getting black screens, and there was a point where I couldn't get into it at all, but eventually, after following a few guides and things, I managed to recover it, which was lucky. If you have got one with version 2, think very carefully before you upgrade to version 4. Certainly read all the guides and the information there on what you should and shouldn't do, you know, including not using batteries while you're upgrading the firmware, obviously. So, regards to SNES, I'll show you. I've got two different emulators on here. Squidge SNES. I can't remember what version this is. It might say 0.396, I think that said, or something. So a load of ROM. The SNES obviously is a bit harder to emulate, so they're not quite as smooth on here. Certainly things like Star Fox, without overclocking it, you're not going to get very good performance on the ones that use the 3D sort of stuff. But if let's try Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4. That was always one of my favourites. So just trying to zoom out a bit. You've got the frames per second there, so you can see it's bound to drop, and you might be able to see that. I'll just move it a little bit. It's bound to drop and dip a little bit. It's sounding sweet. A little bit of slowdown there, you could hear on the sound. But I mean, it was a pretty impressive feat, really, to get this on here. I know the guy has done a lot of work using the second processor, and it's all written in assembler, I should say. But for the most part, these games work. You know, this emulator runs really well. I've played many of these SNES games on holiday and stuff, and yeah, they're really good. Got which the hit buttons now, I guess. So as you can see, it's looking. I mean, it's probably looking a little bit blocky there because the mode I've got, I'm stretching it to the full screen size. So you can put it in the native, and it just looks like really crisp and, you know, just like the original, really. But yeah, that's sweet. Brilliant, awesome game that. Well worth checking out if you've not played this game before on the SNES. I think the SNES is the best version of this, actually, better than bloody Arcade, I think. Pizza Pie. Right, let's give something else a go. Probably have to cut out the loading here, you don't want to keep seeing that damn thing booting. Can't switch the damn thing off now. So I think what I'll show you this time is the other SNES emulator I've got on here, just for comparison. So that was Squidge SNES. I think I've got another one up here somewhere. Pocket SNES. Let's do fast. Pocket says fast, 2 binaries there. I think this one's even faster. This one's uses a lot of assembly as well. Select ROM. So let's load. Let's load Final Fight. Final Fight never gets boring, does it? grief, that's loud. I have to turn it down a bit. Bear with me. Yeah, I think that's way too loud. Let's go with Hagar. So, not sure how accurate this one is in terms of the sound and graphics. You can see there that one's not scaled. But again, it's looking and sounding sweet, and the FPS is sticking at a solid 50. It's a bit slower paced Final Fight, isn't it? I much prefer Streets of Rage, I've got to admit. Oh, I'm getting my ass handed to me here. Can't get away from the bastards. Right, let's have a look at MAME. You can see a few of the things I'll point out. I probably won't show them, but you've got Scum emulator on there, so you can play Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis and Day of the Tentacle and all that, and it runs flawless. It's just superb playing those games on this. Another guy, I forget his name now, did, it's right down the bottom, see it here, UFO. The old game UFO was ported. I think actually he used some sort of dynamic recompiler or something to recompile the original PC code for the ARM9. I think the same guy did some work on PS1 as well, so you can run some PS1 games on here. I don't know what the performances of those, don't quote me, but UFO runs flawlessly, so it's great being able to play UFO on something like this. Obviously I've got a Spectrum emulator and there's a Lynx emulator. I've got a port of Sand, which is just the old, it's like a little thing where you look at sand particles and stuff. I port that from some C++ that was open source at the time. Payback, that was a game on the Game Boy Advance, I think. It was the proper commercial release was done for the GP2X. Power Manga, I think, was a indie game kind of thing. Ghostbusters, I wrote that. I support Retro Remake, Frodo, Commodore 64, Dr. MD, got another Megadrive emulator on there, Doom, yeah, there's a Doom port, Chucky Egg, there's all sorts of stuff. But these are just some of mine. Invaders, I wrote that as well, so I'll show you that in a sec. But we'll just see if we can find MAME. Am I going blind or did I miss it? It might not be on this card. Clearly it isn't on this card, I don't think. Yeah, it's MAME GP2X. It's because it's the way it's Linux based, this, and the way it orders the directories and things in lowercase first, then uppercase. That's all it is. So we've got compatible or fast. Let's go fast. So I think one or two of the games won't work in the fast mode. So we'll see. We'll just see what happens. Let's find a game to load. What should we load? I'll pick. What shall I load? Let's do Kung Fu Master. Can't put your button you press here now. I hope this is coming across alright on the camera. It's hard to tell. It looks like it might be a bit blurry because of the reflectiveness of the screen. As you can see, you know, how cool is that, playing Kung Fu Master on the move. Awesome. Oh, it's hard to do that wiggle thing with this stick, but plays alright. So I'll just show you the other games, the games I've developed on here. Right, so I'll show you Ghostbusters first. This is a retro remake of the awesome game by David Crane. I should say the legendary David Crane. You can still get hold of David Crane actually on the Atari Age forums if you're interested in talking to some of these old legends. So as you can see, it was part of a retro remake, this competition, 2006, and the graphics actually came from the PC version of the retro remake, which I can't remember if it won or it came second or third place, can't remember. But as you can see, it was done by Trevor Story and Scottish, and they gave me permission to use the graphics and stuff, and they had permission to use this background music here that was done by, it was sort of an indie band. It's quite cool. And the one thing I'll point out here, just turn this down a touch, hang on. I'm not going to show too much of this, just due to copyright permissions on the music. I own the instrumental soundtrack for this. I've got it on tape actually. Oops, sorry, a little camera. I've got it on tape and I've got it on CD. Being a Ghostbusters fan, but so the music that I'm about to show you on the game here, very shortly, that's a very short period of time. It's obviously, you know, copyright and all the rest of it. You can add this particular soundtrack in yourself. You'll hear it's the instrumental from the actual game when it starts, but that's not the game that's available publicly. The sound that's available publicly. You get the download of this. You'll get the sort of remake version of the music. So. Yeah, so the music, let's say I've just swapped out for the actual instrumental on my version, but for copyright reasons obviously you can't distribute it with that, but you could, if you've got it yourself, you could always just add that in. So I'll just show you catching the ghost here. It's pretty complete as well. There's a bug with the streamers, the streamer collision. I never implemented streamer collision, so the streamers actually don't do anything. You can move the people around like that, but it's just a bit of guesswork really to fire the streamer. All samples taken from the public domain, so again, you know, it's one of those, you couldn't sell it. It's obviously, you know, there's lots of commercial stuff there. Added the whole collecting coins and things. I think that came from the original retro remake actually, so I can't take credit for that. But I added a few things like the cars beeping at you and stuff, and all sorts of different stuff. There's an ending part to this as well, where you have to get past the Marshmallow Man. That's really cool. Once you get up to the top of the Zool Tower or whatever it's called, you fight Gozer with the particle stream things and try and kill her basically, and it's quite good, it's quite cool. I'm quite pleased with this. It came out really well. Everything's there, the Marshmallow Man stuff, and everything works, you know, apart from the streamer collision there, the intensity thing, you know, that works, the vacuum. So I just sucked a ghost up there. And it was the few things I did to this over the original that weren't there in over the original game as well. Like, you know, depending on how far you travel, depends how long it takes to get there. If that makes sense, you know, if you go 2 blocks away like that, it will take you know, twice as long as it will to go from, you know, a building that's 1 block away. But anyway, I hope you can appreciate that. I think it's you know, I think it's all right. It's quite good. Just kill one more, catch one more, I should say. Right, let's show you something else. So as you can see, looking at CPS2 here, Capcom Play System 2, and it is really sweet. This is Street Fighter Alpha 3. I'll try and keep this on screen without Luke getting the blur on there. It's hard, it really is. It's not easy with this control pad, I have to admit. As you can see, that is really sweet. Yeah, so if you have the chance to pick one of these up and you're not too bothered about the very short battery life and you're prepared for the challenging thumbstick, these are really sweet systems to have. Being superseded actually by things like the Dingo, so you can get more performance for your money with compatibility, so it's worth having a research on things like the Dingo. I think there's another one as well that superseded that. So finally here, I thought I would show you the Neo Geo, just so you can get an all-round feel of what sort of performance, you know, these things will handle. Really, you won't get a Nintendo 64 on here. That's one of the things that was asked time and time and time again on the forums. People were like, no way, it's not happening. You've not got enough regards to the 2 processors on there and the RAM to be able to support a Nintendo 64, which shows you how powerful the Nintendo 64 was, really. Let's try, where am I going here? I've got to scroll all the way up and down, have I? Yeah, I have. So, what should we try? I think it'd be good to show Metal Slug, really. Let's see what Metal Slug's like. So you might have to wait a sec for it to load, because it's a similar thing with the CPS2, whereas everything's got to be preloaded and converted and all the rest of it. It can be a bit awkward to get the ROM images for this, I have to admit, because they've got to be in a certain ROM set. The files have got to be named a certain way and all the rest of it, so it is a bit fiddly. So I can see if I can get this on in a way that you've not got a massive glare on it. It's not the easiest thing to do. So you can hear straight away the sound's not that great. It's not stereo, it's mono, and you've got a load of slowdown there. Now you can overclock this to, like, say, 240, and sometimes I'll play this at 240 and it's actually pretty playable, but at 200 it's just not quite up to it. As I mentioned earlier, this is what it was doing when I first switched it on. So this is going to be a teardown in its own right, really. There was previously a problem with the battery on this, where you use batteries. You know, even when you put fully charged batteries, it would say that it was flat, and the little power light, you know, the battery warning light there would be on right from the offset with a brand new set of batteries. So I knew that I had that to deal with, but it seems now that there's some sort of problem with this when it's cold. Could be a dry joint, don't know. I don't know whether there's any surface mounted electrolytics in there. It could just need recapping. It's hard to know. I mean, I've had this since 2006-ish, I think, something like that. Could have been a bit before, a bit after that, I can't quite remember. But a bit worrying. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.